All right, good evening, everyone.
All right, the purpose of this video is
I'm sure we all are doing great today. If you can hear me, just type I can hear you. If you can hear me, just type I can hear you. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Joseph Agbangali, a wealth advisor and real estate expert, CEO, Grad Treaty Investment. Today, we're going to be talking briefly on the benefit of investing in the US. Meanwhile, let's still wait, hold on for others to join. Okay, I check now. Right. Yeah. All right, let's wait for others to come on. We'll be kicking off or in a few seconds. So by the way, good evening, everybody, and I'm sure you all are doing great. I'm sure you all are doing great. So just a second, let's get everybody here. All right. Okay. So if you can hear me, just chat in the just type your name and where you're joining from. Your name and where you're joining from. So while we are waiting for others to join, so tonight we're gonna be looking at the benefits of investing in the US. Yes. Before now, I've been discussing about this benefit, the US benefit. I've been telling most of our investors and prospects who are always wanting to, diverse into more investment, more investment. All right, I get that. Okay, okay. So, the U.S. investment. Now, if you look at what is happening currently, you can see the naira for the fall of naira, and obviously you can see that there's a need for you to diversify your real estate portfolio. I posted something, I think, early December, or let me say late December last year, about how to, diversify your portfolio. Because this is the only way you can actually build resistance against recession as this, right? So in ways like this, where others are seeing are seeing crisis, and where others are seeing recession, where others are seeing downfall, and you know, you can as well you can as well be smiling to the bank even at this moment, because whether you like it or not, there are so many cashing out right now, and we are still making the money right now. So whether recession or not, we are still making the money right now. This is because we are able to diversify our portfolio, spreading our portfolio not only in the naira in the naira investments, not only in the naira investments, diversifying this portfolio into stable currencies like the US. Now, as of now, dollar is above 1,700. I think 1.8 now currently. Imagine you add an investment in USD that is paying you in USD every month. Now, imagine an investment that pays you in USD, probably 1,000 USD, or even 500 USD, or even, okay, let me say 10,000 USD monthly, or is paying you USD yearly rate. Now, compared to the fall of Naira, what advantage do you think you have assessed? Now, you can see most people are saying, I wish I know I would have bought USD before now. I would have bought. The truth is, when times like this is not announced, nobody will come to your, no spirit will come to your door and tell you tomorrow there will be recession, or tomorrow there will be inflation, or tomorrow there will be this one. Nothing. We are all living a life of risk. That's the point. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow. But in as much as you don't know what will happen tomorrow, there's a way to balance these things and make sure in either ways you are winning. In either ways you're winning. Whether you're winning from where you are, probably in the current state, whereby you're hearing a lot of downfalls and you're experiencing it. Check the price of oil and a lot of things going on. You can see that if you add investment in dollars, if you add investment in USD, if you add investment in USD, do you know what would have happened by now? Did you know the rate, the increase? I checked my USDT account the other day. I just kept some money there and I just checked it. And behold, in fact, I didn't even realize that. I just said, like, okay, let me just go through. And behold, what I saw, it was times three of what I initially invested. Now, this is to tell you that investing in the US market, anything that has to do with USD is important. Now, the benefit of investing in the US real estate market. You might be asking, you are in Nigerian, probably you are in those You're in Lagos, you're in Abuja, you're in Benin, you are in. Well, how can you invest in the US? Is it possible to invest in the US? Ah, how can I just buy properties in the US? Is it possible to buy properties in the US? These are questions you might be asking. Of course, it is. Even as a Nigerian, even where you are, from where you are, you can own properties in the US and be getting yearly, when I mean yearly returns, I mean you'll be getting yearly returns. And funny enough, rentals in the US are not paid yearly, they are paid every month. So every month you can be getting paid in USD. You can be getting paid in USD. Now imagine you investing in a real estate asset in the US. So every month you get USD, you are getting paid in USD. This is not a scam zone or anything. This is real estate. This is real estate. So if you snooze, you lose. So the thing is, you being able to spread your portfolio, you being able to spread your investments, you being able to spread these things, it's giving you an edge against the naira fall, against anything. Like I've said, even as at now, people are complaining of dollar against the naira. Naira is going down every day. Naira is going down every day. But there are still people who are smiling to the banks, who are smiling every blessed day. In fact, let me shock you. There are people who are praying that that dollar does not drop. It is just for the common men. The common men who are just saying, "Oh, dollar has to come down. Dollar has to come down." There are people praying dollar should keep rising. Why? Because they know the amount of investment they've made in dollars. And the more dollar is rising, the more they are making it. The more dollar is rising, the more they are smelling. The more dollar is rising, the more they are enjoying their lives. That is it. So you might be wondering, how do I invest in the real estate market in the US? Is it possible to invest in the US real estate market in the US? Yes, it is possible. In fact, nowadays, you see a lot of Nigerians who are actually trying to leave the country, start a new life outside the country. You see, this common word in Nigeria, Japa, the one with Japa. Now, if you look at almost everybody who are leaving Nigeria, who are going to other countries, probably in Europe and American countries, you discover that most of them, the kind of jobs they are having there, is not jobs. How will I put it? It's not funny. The kind of growth they are having there is not funny. Most of them will close down their businesses in Nigeria and move over to the US, move over to Canada, move over to UK. They will close down their businesses and go and start from square one outside the country. But why can't you leave your business still functioning in Nigeria and as well move to the US and diversify and diversify? When I mean diversify, start raising funds to invest in real estate over there. Even from here, you can invest in real estate in the US. So it is no big deal. It is not a do or die affair, rather, but it is important you spread your portfolio. It is important that you have investments in you have investment in the US. You have investment giving you monthly income in USD. This is how rich people are made. Okay, this is how rich people are made. Now, the first I'll be sharing with you four benefits of investing in the US this evening. Four benefits of investing in the US. And by the way, I'll subsequently we shall be doing more live events, and I will bring in some guests and also some experts as well who will be coming here to train you and drill on how to diversify your portfolio in the US market. So the first benefit, like I've been saying, is your returns is coming USD. That's the first benefit. Let me shock you. Do you know Dangote expanded into the oil sector, right? Dangote expanded his business to the oil sector. He was supposed to make more. In fact, Dangote made more money in Nigeria, but he became poorer. It's not his fault. Why? Naira dropped. He made more money. He expanded his business. He made more money, but yet he became poorer. It was recently he jumped back to the as Africa richest man. He made more money, but he also became poorer. Why? Because the naira fell down. Now, imagine someone who has 100 million naira as at 2 years back. Do you think in this current state now, you think that 100 million naira is still valid as 100 million? No. But imagine you have $1 million 2 years back. Now, the good thing about dollar is that it's stable. And even if it's coming, it's just stable. Like it has an upward trend. That's the good thing about dollar. So imagine you have $1 million, and as at now, do you know how much you would have gotten? So that is if you have it, right? But what if it is constant, is a cash flow that it must come every month? What if you have an investment that is always bringing this money every month? What if you have an investment that is always giving you this cash flow every month? What if you have these things that is always bringing this money every blessed month? Have you come to check? Have you realized the advantage, the edge you have? So this is the reason you have to invest in the USD market. Yes. Now, I'll also talk about the market in the US, unlike Africa, is very huge. Mm, it's very huge. You cannot, like, in Texas alone, Texas is as big as Nigeria. Mm, Texas is as big as Nigeria. Take away one state from Nigeria, you have Texas. So the US market is very huge. The US market, when you have a state having downtime in real estate, you can easily swap to another state. And inside that state, when a city in that state is having downtime in the real estate, you can easily swap to another state in that same state. This to tell you how big the US market is. So what is our goal? Is to being able to create a sustainable cash flow that does not respond to economic fall. That even when you are sleeping, you are not afraid that your money is not is the value of your money is not secured. Even when you're sleeping, you're not afraid that the value of your money is not secured. You can be putting your money in cryptos and all of that, but you all know how volatile it is. So instead of taking those kind of advantages or those kind of risk, you can leverage on an advantage whereby you're investing in the US market, you're investing in real estate, right? So you investing in real estate is an advantage for you, and not just an advantage. In fact, is a super advantage for you. You are not just investing in Nigeria, you are investing in the US. You are investing in the US. By the way, before we round up this video, I'll be giving you a lot of tips. I'll also be bringing on our properties. And by the way, gratuity, we are partners with US developers, and right now we'll be selling more of our US properties, more for USDs, because we've come to discover that the naira is falling way too low. And apart from that, our goal at gratuity is to actually build a sustainable investment system whereby investment does not respond to economic fall. Not that you're investing in naira today with huge amount. Okay, now let me compare. If you have 250 million you use to buy a property here in Nigeria, that same money can still give you some buildings in the US. But if you check the value, if you check what you are getting, if you check the value of your money in the next 10 years, or in the next 2 years, 3 years, the incomes you are getting, you discover that the rate of inflation in this country, the rate of inflation, in fact, the recession we are going through right now, cannot actually make you smile. Although you are seeing the huge amount on the bank, but there's no value. Are you getting me? Although you are seeing it in the bank, yes, you're seeing it in the bank, but there is no value. There's no value coming up. No value for that money. Yes, there's 100 million in the bank. There's 200 million in the bank. There's 20 million in the bank. That's figures. There's no value. Can you bring it can you compare it with the dollar? Because as partner powers over this can always lean on to the value of the investment is secured, not just giving you value, not just giving you, making sure making sure that the value you're getting from your investment is secured. That is the goal. Not just giving you this investment and all that, but your value is secured. It is what is important. So what is important? Not that you invested 20 million naira today, and by the end of next year, you discover that 20 million naira compared to this year is not even up to 10 million. It doesn't make sense, right? So let's start looking at investing in the US, and that is why we are here. Gratuity is here. Now, want to raise investors who are willing to secure the value for their funds, the value for the money, who are willing to say, okay, how can I be getting returns in USD? How can I invest in USD? How can I be getting returns in USD? Is it possible? Even as a Nigerian or as someone who hasn't even gotten to the US before. Now, let me tell you, most of our clients who have been investing in the US, in fact, some of them don't stay in US. No, they don't. As a last year, I was talking about Dubai. Most of the clients and investors we had are not in Dubai. Majority of them, 90% of them are from Nigeria. So they are from Nigeria. So even while you're in Nigeria, even while you're here, you can invest in the US. You can invest in the US. So we're talking about that the market is huge. You can buy properties, you can do commercial, you can do residential, you can decide to buy a housing unit and put it for rent, and every month you are getting returns. You are getting returns every blessed month. You can decide to buy a commercial property, commercial buildings, office spaces, and every month you are getting your, unlike Africa, whereby you wait for the end of the year, you wait for 12 months before you get your rent. And you have that to get that rent, you will sweat, you will sweat before that rent comes. You will struggle your own money, oh, your own money. You will struggle before they pay the rent. But in the US, everything is systemized. It's not all this blah 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 blah. Everything is organized. Everything is technical. So by the end of the month, you are getting your rent. Shikina, that's it. It's not I'll call next week, next month, 2 months, give me 3 months later, give me this. Those things doesn't happen there. And everything is being fed. Everything is being fed. It's systemized. So when you're investing in the US, you know that okay, this is what I'm getting every month. If you are doing a yearly investment, but I will also be bringing up a yearly investment too before the end of this video. If you are doing a yearly investment, you also discover that everything is systemized. It's not, in fact, if you go against the law in the US, probably you are due to pay the bills and you're not paying it. You can get, in fact, you can get to court for that. It's not what you see in Nigeria or what is happening in Africa. It is totally different. Now, this is why you have to open your minds. You have to open your minds to the advantage of investing in the US. So it is stress free. You don't need to stress yourself. When you invest, you have invested. Your money is coming in 247. That is why we are here. Your money is coming in 247. At the end of every month, there's nothing like 3 months later. No of your tenants is going to be telling you 3 months later. This is the US for crying out loud. This is not Africa. This is not Nigeria. So compare the investment. Now, most of you be saying, how can everyone have funds to invest in the US? Isn't this US market, you're talking about millions here. Even as low as that funds you have, if you take a look at the investments you have in Nigeria, you discover that even with those investments, you can actually still get something like that in the US. Although it will be a little bit higher. But when we are going now, I will also bring out how to get funds. Don't worry. You can also get those kind of investments in the US, even with the same amount. You're buying a house in Lekki, in Victoria Island, the same amount, you can still get something in the US as such. And by now, you will be leveraging on dollar, on USD. Every month your USD comes to your account and you're smiling. You're smiling. So while others are crying and saying, dollar is this, there are still people who are praying, oh God, let this dollar not drop. Yes, because they know the investment they have made in USD. They are not joking. They didn't put this money in crypto because they know crypto is volatile. They know the amount of real estate they have in USD. They know the amount of real estate they have in USD. So they are not afraid. They are not afraid to. They are not afraid that they are going to lose their money. They are not afraid they are going to get scammed. They are not afraid they are going to know. This is the US for crying out loud. You don't go against the law in the United States. It's not the way it happens in Nigeria, where everybody's above the law. You don't do that in here. You don't try that. You don't try that. So looking at the risk, looking at the security, and looking at the value entitled to this, what are you waiting for? Why don't you just invest in the US instead of just taking the risk and having to stress to invest in Africa? You invest in Africa to even collect your rent, wahala. You invest in Africa, the naira is also dropping. It's like your investment is not even rising. Although you bought a property for 10 million and the property is now 50 million, good and fine. But what's the value of that 50 million compared to the dollar? Can you get anything with 50 million naira in dollars that is actually substantial? If you wish to have anything, probably you have something that is being paid for with USD. Can your 50 million actually afford it? Have you asked yourself? It's fine. The figures is big. The figures is huge. Oh, great. The figures are huge, right? The figures are huge. But can you leverage on it? Can you compare it to what you are getting? No, you cannot, right? You cannot. So number three benefit of investing in the US. In fact, this is the most interesting part. This is the most interesting part. Investing in the US. You get good funding. Now, you want to buy a house. Okay, let me come this way. Let me break it down because I know some people will be like, is this possible? What are you saying? Is this possible? Is this possible? Okay, let me get this straight, right? Now, you are investing in the US, okay? Imagine you are buying a property, you are buying a house, probably for fix and flip. When I mean fix and flip, I mean you buy a house, you renovate it, and you sell it. Or probably you buy a house, you put it out for rent. After a certain time, you sell it. Imagine you bought that house with someone's money. Now in the US, there are group of systems that are available to give you money to buy real estate. Okay, this one I know this one is unlikely. People have not heard this. I know most of you have not heard this before. Unlike Nigeria, that's why Nigeria is on a lot of things need to come in place before we start experiencing economic growth in our nation, Nigeria. No, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Now in the US, there are systems, the organizations that are willing to give you money. Okay, they just want to see, okay, what you are buying, the asset you want to buy. Okay, will this asset actually be bringing money regularly? Let them confirm that. And with other criteria, like, okay, we've seen your credit record, or we've seen your financial capability, or we've seen this, and the asset you are buying, fine, it's great, it can be bringing cash flow. And they know that with this asset, you can pay for this property. They will give you money. You will not then use that money to go and buy properties, to go and buy the real estate. Buy the real estate, then put it on rent monthly, and you are getting cash flow every month. Now, the money you are getting from the rental income every month will be enough to pay off the mortgage. Right. So this mortgage, they give you mortgage. You take a mortgage loan in the US. Now, this is how it works. Let me just tell you the truth. Every rich person in the US got rich through what we call debt syndication. Yeah, they got rich through debt syndication. It is in this part of the world, it's totally different, unlike the way it is in Africa. In this part of the world, hmm, in this part of the world, you do not you do not use your own money to fund real estate. In this part of the world, you don't use your own money to fund real estate. In fact, it is not wise to fund real estate with your own money in this part of the world. It is not wise to fund real estate with your own money in this part of the world. In fact, everybody got rich in this place. Everybody that is rich in the US got rich by simply using debt syndication. They got a good company that could give them mortgage, that could give them a loan. And what do? They take that mortgage. First of all, they see a property they want to buy. They're like, okay, they go to a mortgage company and a loan is assigned to them. Now, when they've gotten that loan, boom, they get the property. Now, how do they pay back the loan? With the monthly income coming in from that property, they will use the monthly income coming from that property to pay back the loan. Now, when they've paid back the loan, the property still belongs to them. They can choose to continue collecting the rental income, or they can decide to what? To sell it out. Yes, you can decide to sell it out. I know of a story where a property was bought with $2.5 million. Yes. So the property was bought, and every by the end of the month, the rental income for that property is $30,000. And behold, lo and behold, after getting that property, getting the funding for the property, and the property was acquired eventually, the property, in fact, the mortgage was paid back with the same monthly income. With the same monthly income. Yes, it was paid back with the same monthly income. And when it was cleared, the property still belongs to her. Not just belongs to her, the property is still in her possession and she's still collecting monthly income. That means the rest, after paying back the mortgage, the rest income coming in is just for her and her family to leverage on. And funny enough, after she paid back the mortgage, she gotten some amount of income coming in for herself. She also decided to sell the property for $5 million. This was a property that was bought for $2 million. What a good investment. So you can see this investment is a powerful one. You don't just rely on the naira alone. No, you need to start expanding your thinking. How can I go into the US and invest? How can I invest from the US even from where I am? Because that's where the money is. The fourth reason why you must invest in the US market, the benefit of investing in the US market, the fourth reason is tax free. Listen, there are certain types of property, of real estate properties you acquire in the US that you are not required to pay tax. You're not required to pay tax on that property. Now, why do you think how did Donald Trump got rich? Hmm. He requested for a 30 years tax exemption for a project, and in fact, most of his projects, where he goes to the government and tell the government, you see this project I'm carrying out, it will benefit me, to benefit you. So for this project to be successful, for this project to hit the finish point, this is what I need. I need a 30 years tax exemption. And because it is a symbiotic, because it's symbiotic, the government don't have a choice. They granted it. They granted it. right? 30 years tax exemption free. In fact, all the rich people in the US knows this. They are getting tax exemption. They are getting tax exemption because the number one thing that is killing uh, US citizens is taxes. They pay so much in tax. They pay so much in tax. This is why this is why you have to leverage on real estate because majority of all the real estate in the US have the tax exemption. You don't pay taxes, especially when it comes from a debt syndication. When a mortgage is given to you, you don't pay tax on a loan. Now, this is where the magic is happening. You do not pay tax on a loan. You took a mortgage to buy a house in the US. And that mortgage, you have been paying that mortgage, you're always paying that mortgage from your rental income you're getting monthly. You're not paying that mortgage from your own. Oh. That mortgage, you already bought a property that is bringing in cash flow every month. That cash flow used to pay back the mortgage you took, right? And upon that, you are not paying tax on it. Why? Because it is in their law that you don't pay tax on loans. So your property was bought on a loan on debt syndication. You cannot pay tax on it. So people get rich in this part of the world using debt. You get the point. So people are getting rich in this part of the world using what? Using debt. So this is why it is very important to understand the benefit of investing in the real estate in US. You get returns. You get your own returns on USD. The market is huge. You can diversify into any market of your choice. You upon that you get money. They also give you money to take go invest. They can also give you money to invest. If you know the right thing, you meet the right persons, you have the right knowledge. Because at times you may have the right knowledge because you are not meeting the right persons, the knowledge will just go. That is why we are here. Hmm? That is why I'm here. So having the right persons is an advantage to guide you in this journey. Because this is a journey. This is a journey. So you being able to leverage on the US real estate is a big win for you. Okay? It's a big win for you. So apart from having this being tax free, the other advantage of investing in the US real estate market, I can say, which obviously is the last I said four, but I'm making it five, is the security in the value of your investment. That is it. In fact, this is the top for me. The security in the value of your investment. Not an investment you do today will probably invested or $50,000 and you now be hearing stories that $50,000 is still there, or probably it went to $70,000 in probably in 6 months, and but the $70,000 is still has a value of $40,000 because there's a drop in dollar or da da da. No, so there are two different things. So you can see that the USD is very stable. It's a very stable currency. So you investing in the US is an advantage for you, right? It's an advantage for you. Okay. So currently you might be asking, how do I invest in the US? How do I go about this? Okay, fine. I want to invest in the US. I want to invest in. You can check the description. Check the description. Our office contact is there. You can call if you want to invest in the US. We have a lot of properties right now in the US. Now, not for you to come and sell, come and buy, sell. No, 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 we're not doing that. What we are doing is to get your investment into where its value is secured. That is just the goal, right? Will it make sense when you have when you have a huge amount of funds and the huge amount of funds is still there, but in the next 10 years, sorry, in the 10 years is too far. In the next 1 year, because the rate of at which Naira is falling, only God knows what will happen in the next 2 months. Talk more of a year, right? So when you have probably you have like 20 million in your account, in your bank account, and the next 2 months you're still seeing the figure 20 million, right? But the value is no longer there. Probably that 20 million is still yeah, it can only give you what actually worth 5 million, just because value is no longer there. How will you feel? So you can see that what we are trying to do is to actually secure your investment. The value of your investment is to actually secure the value of your investment, right? So actually secure that value of your investment. Now, I'll be showing you. So currently we are having uh, over 40-acre property in the US as we speak. We're having over 40-acre property in the US as we speak right now, and we are open to investment. Like you want to really invest, you really want to invest in the US. You really want to secure that value of your investment, rather than just investing in naira, rather than just investing in the Nigeria property, whereby although you're seeing the money, but the money is not actually the money it is. So you can actually leverage on the US properties. You can actually leverage on US properties, right? So you can actually leverage on US properties. So currently we are having some investment. Let me quickly share my screen. So let me show you some things. All right. So as at last month, or let me say month plus, we recently launched a 40-acre property in Katy, Texas, United States. And obviously, our partner is the first Nigeria company to, you know, to start this kind of project in the US. That is building an estate from scratch. Now you can see this estate. You can see this estate. So this is something we are currently at right now, right? This is what we are currently working on right now. This is a 40-acre property in Katy, Texas, United States of America. Now you might be wondering, how can I invest? Now these are the kind of properties you should be investing in. These are the kind of projects you should be investing in. Do you know why? Now projects like this, when you start a project from scratch, this is in its pre-development stage. You can look at the pre-development stage. When you start this project from scratch, now do you know the value you'll be getting from this project when this project is fully completed? No, you don't. Do you know the value of the coming in when this project is fully completed? Now, okay, let's assume now we have finished a term target of 7 to 10 years to round up with this project. Now, when you invest in a project like this, and the plan for this project is over 400 units of housing, 400 units, and we also have recreational centers, golf clubs, and other recreational activities going on in this place. And there's a school that is currently being built around these houses, and obviously from our analysis, they should be done by this year ending. And imagine when that is when that project is completed, you can see that there will be an increase in value in this property. And when we're talking about increase in value, remember that the value we're talking about value coming in USD. We're not just talking about any value. This is the value coming in USD, right? Is the value coming in USD? Now, you might want to ask, how do I invest in this kind of project? How do I invest in this project? It is simple. It is simple. You can see these are the 3D look of what we want to do here. So a 3D look of what we want to do here. So, but how can we invest in this project? You are in Nigeria, but you really want to invest. How is this possible? You are in Nigeria and you want to invest. Like I told you, you can invest from anywhere in the world. From anywhere in the world, right? From anywhere in the world. Now, to 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 be an investor in this project, remember I told you we are not selling, we are not buying. We are only creating a system whereby you can actually get your investment secured, the value of your investment secured. So rather than just buying properties in Nigeria, whereby even you are seeing the bigger figures, but there is no value, big figure, zero value. So rather than buying like that, why don't you buy in locations whereby your value for investment is guaranteed, not just the return. You might be getting return, but the return does not have value. You might be getting return, but zero value. Fine, in Nigeria, you can buy with the same amount of investment, you can buy properties in Nigeria, fine. But the returns, you are getting returns, fine. But the returns, there's zero value in it. But with that same amount, you can invest in the US. When you invest in the US, you are getting crazy returns. You're getting returns yearly. Getting returns yearly, you can get returns monthly. For this project, monthly returns are not allowed for this project, but I'll be bringing in subsequently what you can do to be getting monthly returns. Okay. Well, for this project, the least you can invest in on this project is $30,000. That $13,000, you can either choose to invest via the US the US validated investor, uh, accredited investor. You can invest as a US accredited investor, right? And you can also invest as a non-US investor. That is, as non-US investor, you can invest from Nigeria, and yet you are getting your your property, your value for your and return of your investment coming to you at the end of the given period, even from Nigeria. Yeah, yes, that is it. So we have two types, like I said. You can invest as a US. This is a US entity, but this for only accredited investors. And for accredited investors, you are only allowed to invest $50,000 minimum. Yeah, $50,000 minimum. That is what you are allowed to invest with as a US accredited investor, and that is when you are investing with the US entity, right? You're investing with so you're only allowed to invest with a minimum of $50,000. And by the way, this is a fractional investment, right? Because you are you are buying into these properties. You are buying into the shares in this property. Yeah, it's a fractional investment. And as I will also show you what you can do to buy your own investment in the US. We also have properties. We also have a 20-unit townhouse right in the US in Valdosta. So I'll be bringing that on. But this is a fractional investment. You want to invest your money, you just want to keep your money there and let your money keep rising for you. This is what you can do as in Nigeria. So as in Nigeria, the non-US entity is just for you. So you can invest via our app, GVest app. So there's an app, GVest app. You can download it. So when you download, you can invest through that app in Nigeria. So if you want to invest in Nigeria, you can let us know. There are informations